All right, everybody. I am super stoked for this one. Me and my cool glare from the sun. Joining me now is singer-songwriter out of New York City, Rae Radick. What's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Did I say the name correctly?
It's Radic. It's a little bit more
Oh, hey, my bad. My bad. I didn't
You're
know. I
fine.
didn't know which one. I apologize. I probably should have asked you in the 10-minute dialogue we just had before recording, but
It's all good. It's just a name. Yeah, like
I,
a lot of people get it wrong, so it's not you're not the first one.
well, you just gave me a compliment before, and now I fucked up your name, and it's just like, oh man.
It's okay. We don't
But
have to start off the interview on the wrong foot.
yeah, yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So you've been around the music industry for a long time, right? Can you talk about how you got your start?
Yeah, so I've been in the business, and when I say business, I mean the entertainment field since I was about 3 years old. So I've been in here I've been here a long time. I started off as a model. And then I was a dancer at one point, and then I got into songwriting and singing, and then from there, of course, my parents were like, "Well, you have to go to college." They're like, we're not just gonna let you just, go out into the world without a college degree." So after I graduated college from DeSales University in Pennsylvania, I moved to New York City, and there I was a professional actress because I do everything. So I was a professional actress for a couple years, and I always had this like hole in my heart that I wanted to do a little bit more songwriting and performing in that respect. Although things were opening up for me as an actress, I just wasn't very fulfilled. So then I made a change to like focus a little bit more on singing and performing and writing. And then that's where I kind of put my focus in, and I got an album together, and then I've been touring for the past couple years. I also live in Nashville, so I'm no longer in New York City. I'm in Nashville as well, and I'm just
Okay.
kind of bebopping around.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally and figuratively, right? Apparently.
Exactly.
So did you go to New York City like the just for the bright lights, kind of for the reputation of New York City, or did you do some research and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
was it like premeditated or was it just go on a whim?
No, so when you're a performer, you have 3 avenues to take. You could either go to LA, New York, or Nashville. At least at that time. Now I believe Atlanta's picking up, which is fantastic, and I believe Texas is picking up as well. But
Mhm.
when I was first moving, it was those 3 states, and I knew I didn't want to be too far from home because my family is in Pennsylvania. So I
Mhm.
thought, New York is close enough where if I don't like it, I could always come home. It's only a couple hours away. Whereas if I chose Nashville or LA, that's like a whole plane ride. So, like, I just kinda chose New York because it was closer.
Well, I'm a Florida boy, so I haven't made the trip up there yet, but that's on the bucket list.
I
That's
know a
on my
lot of
bucket
people
list.
from Florida, and they don't like New York.
I'm from the well, I grew up in Orlando, but I right now I'm in the Panhandle, like by Pensacola. But
Yeah.
it's on the list. It's on the list. So I did a little bit of research on you, right? But at least I got that part right on the name. But anyways, I saw that you described yourself as love child of Shania Twain and Miranda Lambert. Am I correct on that? Did I
Yeah.
get that one right as
Yeah.
well?
That's
Okay.
100%
All
correct.
right. Well, I got 2 out of 3. That's good. Hey, so why them 2? Like, can you explain where?
Sure. I mean, honestly, I'm influenced by so many different artists. If it was my choice, I would narrow it down to, like, 10 and be like, "I'm the love child of this person, and this person, this person, this person." But I knew that that would be a little overwhelming for people, and a lot of people like if you're going to be a new artist, they like for some reason to affiliate you with somebody else. That's what I learned from
Mhm.
acting. So I chose Shania Twain because she changed country music in the 90s. You look at her, she's beautiful, she's personable, she has amazing songs. When you go to her concert, you can't stop dancing, and she has an energy and a warmth about her. And that's something that I believe I share with her. I always try and bring my heart and soul not only to a performance but to everybody that I meet, and I try and be a warm breath of fresh air, and I try and give
Mhm.
back the way that she does. So I resonate with her in those respects. And then I also chose Miranda Lambert because she's a fantastic, she's one of the best songwriters, and she paints
Mm,
such beautiful pictures. And that's what I try and do with my songs as well, specifically The Soldier and the Bombshell, which was
right.
inspired by one of her songs as well. So I like that part of Miranda Lambert where Shania Twain wrote her own songs, but she wasn't really a primary songwriter, whereas Miranda Lambert, she writes her own songs and she has this kind of feistiness about her. And
Hmm.
I resonate with her in that respect too. You know, when I get on stage, no one can touch me. I am a feisty girl. I am in my power. And
Yeah.
that's something that I share with Miranda Lambert. So that's why I chose those two.
Yeah, I like that. And of course, I was born in '87, so I remember all the '90s. And I tell people um, in the like '94, '95, there was like no one hotter, literally and figuratively, than Shania Twain.
She's amazing. She's honestly perfect. Like she's gorgeous to look at, and she has amazing music. Like
Yeah,
I'm such a
like
Shania Twain fan.
for a couple years there, like in the mid '90s, it was like Shania Twain, like in Faith Hill, but they weren't like rivals, but like they got a lot of the spotlight. Would you
Yeah,
agree
I
with that?
remember. Yeah, I remember Faith Hill and Shania Twain were always like, for some reason, I
Hmm.
think that this tabloids like to pin them against each other, but they're so different. So
Right,
like, there's
right.
really no competition.
Yeah, I think I remember them talking about that and being like, "Oh yeah, I don't think they were like besties, but I think
Mm,
as the kids say, but like I don't think they hated each other either."
no, I
So that's
I
cool.
find a lot of that is all just fluff. Like,
Yeah, media.
Britney versus Christina, like they were friends. They didn't
Oh, don't get
care.
me
Like,
started on that shit. Don't get me started. I was Britney. Don't get me started.
yeah, I'm Team Britney as well. But I mean, like, all that stuff of like Mariah Carey versus Whitney Houston, like, that's all because they want to create drama. It very rarely is
Uh-huh.
is like a thing between the two artists because artists know that everyone is so unique. They're just doing their thing and they're doing their thing and they're doing their thing.
Right.
And, it's just kind of like a unique experience for everyone.
Mhm. All right, so there's two songs I want to talk about. Can you guess them? The two? I mean, you've done a lot of songs, so that's like needle in a
Ooh.
haystack. But
Yeah.
can you guess the first one I'm going to talk about? I just said
I
part of the word of the song.
keep them guessing.
Yeah, ding ding ding. I gave you a hint there. You're not
That
going to
was a
guess the
good one.
second one because you got like one in like 20 or 30 or whatever how many you've
Yeah.
done. But
I,
talk
I would I
about
would say, like, is it a fast or slow song? Give me like a little hint.
well, most of your songs are country pop rock. So but I would say that this "Keep 'Em Guessing" song was like it's like your most popular one. I'm not trying to say the others weren't like super popular,
Yeah,
but based on YouTube and downloads, it looks like that's number one. Am I right?
it is. Yeah.
So what's the story behind that one?
Sure. So it's very funny with all these apps today because on YouTube, that's had the most views, but on
Mm.
Spotify, In a Memory, which is another single of mine, that's like number one. So
I'm not trying
it's
to
so
hold on.
funny.
I'm not trying to discredit that. I hope you don't take it that way.
No, no, no. It's so funny because it's like, I feel like I have to check all these different avenues to see how each song is doing because, like,
Yeah.
if you look at the numbers, they're not reliable because the numbers on one app might be low, but the numbers on another app for the same song are high. So it's like,
Trust me, the same way with the podcast.
yeah, you understand. So it's like
Oh,
it's so hard to keep
trust me.
track.
Trust me. I understand. Trust me. No, but so was this a song that was long in the making or
Yeah, so this was the first single off of my album, and I wanted to come out with something really fierce. And I think this song perfectly blends my Shania Twain and Miranda Lambert because it's got a lot of like, man, I feel like a woman energy, but
Yeah.
but I also have like a feistiness, so that Miranda Lambert kind of comes in. And
Mm.
I knew that I wanted to come out with a first single that smashed. Like I wanted it to be loud and rockin' and fun and something that really showed my personality. So I was kind of set on something like that as a debut. And it's so funny. I was writing this with my production team. And at that time, I was a bartender I was acting, I was singing for wedding bands, and then I also was a bartender.
Lot
And
of
I was,
Red Bull and vodkas.
oh my gosh, yes, a lot of Red Bull vodkas.
Anyway,
Like whiskey
sorry, go
sours.
ahead.
It's New York, honestly. Like it depends. Ugh. Um, but I remember I would get very upset that like men would be surprised that I had a brain. Like they just thought I was like a cute girl who was a
Yeah, pretty
bartender who was
face
just
and
exactly who had like nothing up here. And then when I would talk to them, they would always be surprised that I was a very deep and a knowledgeable person. And I'm like, why are you pigeonholing me? That like because I'm pretty,
mm,
I'm dumb. That's awful. So I was talking to my
you're just
production.
triple threat.
I try to be. I mean, like I try and be the whole package, trying to follow in Shania Twain's footsteps.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I was talking to my production team about how this was bothering me. And then we just decided to write a song about it. So the song is about, like you might think you're an amazing guy, blah, 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 but like I actually am the one who's gonna keep you stringing along. And once you think you figured me out, I've got another thing coming. So it like keeps them on their toes a bit.
Mhm. And then the actual production itself, studio quite a bit of times, or was it a one take, or
Um,
one session? I mean,
Yeah. So the way that we did this song was, it was actually right before the pandemic. So I believe they went in and they recorded everything. They sent me the track, and I was like,
mm,
"Oh, this sounds amazing." And I believe I came in separately, so it wasn't a live recording like people used to do in the '70s. So the band did it
yeah.
themselves, and then I came in on a separate day. It took me 3.5 hours to record the lead vocals, and the harmonies and the vibe track and all that good stuff. And then I went home and then they mixed it like 2 weeks later, and then that was it. So I'd
Voila,
say all in
voila.
all, yeah, it was pretty
Social
quick.
social distancing too, right? Of
Hmm.
course. Social
Yep.
distancing. Um, so check out or guess the second. I don't know why I said check out. Guess the second song I'm going to talk about.
Well, is it a fast or slow song?
It's more of the rock side.
Oh, Circle Game.
Oh my God. It's like your own library.
Yes.
Of
They're my
course.
children. I know all my children.
Yeah. It is a little heavier on the rock side. So
Yep.
which I kinda like. I'm a rocker at heart. So uh yeah, so what about this one? I know this one's about social media. I saw the
Yeah.
lyrics. So are you
Um.
condemning social media, or are you telling people to be careful with it?
Ooh, that's a wonderful question. I would say I'm telling people to be careful about it. I personally hate it, so I would never tell anybody what to do. But and obviously, social media and technology is not going away anytime soon. I just wanted to, I want people to be aware of what's really happening. You know,
Mhm.
like what you put on the internet will live forever, and you have to be careful with like watching other people's highlight reels and comparing it to your own life. And if something or someone's account is making you upset, it's okay to delete it. It's not going to kill anyone. Like
Well
you can just erase them.
well, Ray, that once it's on the internet, it's there forever. Like you can delete it, but you know what I'm saying. That's what my mom was
Oh
telling me,
yeah.
like in the '90s, because I'm old, but like
90s
even
baby.
well, '87, but I remember most of the '90s, like actual
Mhm.
remember, but I'm still millennial, but. She was like,
Mhm.
Sean, whatever you put, because she knew MySpace was coming. This was like in the late '90s. So she was
MySpace.
like, yeah. So she was like, MySpace was like 2000, 2001 is when it first started, I think, something around there. And she was like, Sean, be careful. And I'm like, I know, mom. Like, I'm like 14 trying to be
Mhm.
cool. I'm like, you know, but
Yeah.
so circle game, I like that message because it's one of those things that I know people like that get that like done life is sad, but like people that get really depressed and have kind of letting social media take care of them, take control of their personal life. Like, oh, I don't get enough likes, so let me change my hair color, let me get lipo, let me get this, let me get
Mhm.
that. I'm not trying to single out those changes, but at the same time, those are the two
Yeah.
common ones. Do you agree with people making drastic personal choices? Like,
This song is loaded with so many different topics. Like I could talk about this for like hours. But I remember
well, I mean, there's always a second interview
of
whenever you want
course.
to come on, you know.
Yeah, all the viewers have to write in saying that they want me back.
Mm.
Um, but when I wrote this song, we were already deep in COVID, and I was going crazy because obviously everybody was quarantining, and our only link to being social was through the
Quarantine.
through. I know.
That's the buzzword. Anyways,
Well,
sorry, go
you were
ahead.
in Florida, right? So there that didn't exist
Oh,
in
we don't
Florida, but
believe in that. We don't believe in COVID.
that's right.
COVID didn't exist down here.
That's
No,
hilarious. I
it
mean,
wasn't even a thing.
I know. I remember, but upstate, everybody was
Oh, New
quarantining
York?
because
Oh my,
yeah.
everyone was quarantining together, you know?
Oh yeah, it was bad. It was so bad. And like everybody was depressed and like I weirdly so like I was always on my phone trying to check out like the world and like I became as such like so addicted with my phone and Instagram and Facebook. And then I weirdly developed like a body dysmorphia because like I was
Hmm.
looking at I don't know how this came about, but like
Oh,
I started experiencing I don't want to say an eating disorder, but like I started really
imperfections. Yeah.
yes.
Or
And like I was looking at
comparisons.
other
Yeah.
exactly. You look at other girls and you're like, "Oh my god, she's so beautiful." Or like Shania Twain, you're like, "Oh my gosh, she's incredibly gorgeous. I'll never look like her." But maybe if I skip a meal, I will look like her. And then you like
Mm-mm-mm.
get into this deep psychological hole. And so like I noticed I was doing that a lot and I needed a way to get it out of my heart. So then I wrote this song about it. And I think one of my favorite lines from that song is post here, post self-worth judged by the world.
I
And
mean,
that's a deep line for me because nobody can give you your self-worth, only you can do that.
yeah, you make good points. You make
Yeah.
um so for me, I don't know, like I go on there, you know, I'm addicted to it, but I try to keep it like I used to post like all the statuses. I don't know, you probably do remember this, but do you remember how Facebook started, Ray?
Yeah, it was all about what you're doing.
Kind of, but before then, you know, it was only colleges, right?
Mhm.
You had to have a
Yes.
you had to have a college email.
Yeah.
So I remember that my brother was like my two brothers were like one of the first two, and then like they were like in there, and I'm like, let me check this out. What I didn't have a college email, so I forgot how I did. I think I eventually they loosened up because they realized they had something, and then they loosened
Mhm.
up and they let everyone on. But at first they were a stickler about it, so like a lot of people felt like elitists.
Mhm.
And now there's people that go only on Instagram because they're tired of the Facebook, you know, policies.
Mhm.
But for me, I just post like sports and like occasion my and cat pictures and stuff. I got like a 4 month old cat, and she's like, I put her. I'm gonna sound. I hope the cat activists and animal activists don't come for me when I say this story, but I'm just joking. I'm just joking when I say this. I'm prefacing it. So you know those little like 3 level condos,
Yeah.
like the little towers for cats. So I put her on the top one just to see if she would do like a jump.
No.
She was like,
Oh my gosh. What happened?
guess. Oh,
She didn't jump.
no, she did. But she
She
was
did?
like, yeah, to the second level. Like, you know,
Okay.
she did like a borderline handstand. But that's like my mom's like, you should relax on the evil you know.
Evel Knievel.
Like let's test the durability of this 4 month-old cat.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd wait a little bit, maybe try something else.
But now every time I leave, she sticks her head out. Like she's like I've gotten her heart and she's kind of gotten mine.
Oh.
So yeah, so she like even if I'm outside like taking trash out, my cat will look out the window and stare at me. Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
Oh, I think that's a good sign. I've never had a cat, so I don't know.
But I would
But I think
assume.
if yeah, like I think if an animal is upset that you're leaving, I think that's a good
No, but
sign.
they obviously can't verbalize it. But like,
Yeah, but you
but
can
they can,
see, like, once you have a vibe with an animal, like, you're soulmates for life.
or like if they stare at you with no emotion, like this,
Well, I
then
hear cats are moody, so maybe she was just, like, trying to see what you were doing.
no, but like, and I came back today, and because I have a cool job where I can clock in and out of my phone. It's pretty sweet. But so so she didn't do anything. She hibernated once I left this morning. Like when she came back, it's
Oh,
like her life resumed. She went to the bathroom. I'm like, oh my god. She just
that's
stands there
crazy.
and she just sits there and does nothing. Like I check the litter box, I check everything, and
Yeah.
it's like nothing has moved.
Wow.
No food
She goes
eaten.
into a deep depression.
I guess. I don't know. Cat people help me out, you
I've
know?
heard that some people put on the TV or the radio when they're gone
Well,
just so,
I
like,
don't
the
know.
I hear that's a good thing.
But she's like, I and then I come in and she's on the windowsill and she like comes right to me. And I'm like, I
Oh.
this is my first ever like cat, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask my vet. I'm like, is this normal? I assume it is. I assume it
I
is.
think it is. I think both of you are trying to establish a relationship and a rhythm and a flow. So, like, you're trying to figure each other out, she's trying to figure you out. So I'd say, like, just keep working on the bonding
I didn't
and,
know.
you know,
I'm
you
sorry for asking you pet questions during the interview. I apologize.
it's
Using you
okay. I
as
feel bad
my
because I don't have a pet.
no, but you know the relationships between like animals and their owners. It's like they can get
It's
crazy.
deep. Oh,
You
yeah.
know people that have like relationships like with their dog. Like the dog is their like is their kid.
I was reading an article the other day, and they were saying how the different types of, generations are, and, like,
Mm-hmm.
our parents' generation, it was like you get married and then you have 2 kids and they're your kids. They said
Yeah.
that millennials, their kids are their pets.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
Well,
less millennials are having kids today because they have pets instead.
I mean,
Makes sense.
and money is more scarce.
Yeah,
So
money's more scarce. I also think too there's different lifestyles.
diapers and playpens and, and stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah.
let's get back on track before to the music before people log off.
Sure.
All right. So you talk about we talked about you know, Miranda Lambert, Shania Twain, Faith Hill, but you can't just be doing rock without any rock influences. So talk to me
Mhm.
about rock music, like who inspired
Yeah.
you to go into that.
It's funny. So, like, I really wanted to establish that, like, I'm an energetic artist. I'm not, as much as I try, I cannot and I will not go on stage and just stand there. Like, I have to
Mm-hmm.
move around, I have to dance. It's going to be a party. And so, for me, a lot of the rock influences are classic rock. So when I think of rock, I think of specifically Fleetwood Mac, and they were the first band that I have ever seen in concert and the one that influenced me the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying rock like Blink 182 or like that kind of, or like Led Zeppelin, but a little bit more of like Fleetwood
Blink
Mac.
182 was my jam.
They're
But
great.
anyways,
I mean, I
continue.
work out to them, but they're not what I'm talking about, obviously. Like when I say I mean classic
I
rock,
know,
like
I'm just
again.
mess. Well, nowadays Blink 182 is classic to these Gen Zs.
Don't say that. No.
Keep
I know
going.
these Gen Zers are so fun.
Sorry, you can keep going. I apologize.
No, it's that's there's really not much to say. Yeah, like the classics, in the 70s. That's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. I have such a strong connection with the 70s and 80s music and
Mm,
artists, so that's kind of where I get a lot of my inspiration from and my flavor. And then the guys who I was working with, my production team, they're rock guys. Like they are
mm-hmm.
100% rock. And so I was like, you know what? You guys can take the reins. Like you do what you do best. And then they kind of came up with like a flavor of Circle Game and like all the
Did
cool
you
rockiness.
did you put some rock into your music to differentiate yourself to kind of stand out from like did you think about that side or am I just making that up?
No, it's very funny. So as an artist, you hear all of these people tell you so many different things. And one of them they say is you have to find your sound. But my sound, like my sound reflects who I am, and who I am is a bunch of different flavors. And I think that's how a lot of people are. So, you know, if you listen to Jack Johnson, for example, he's
Mm-hmm.
amazing, but his songs kind of sound similar because he's just got the one flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I wanted to establish
Oh,
myself on
I
my
thought you were
first
gonna
album.
say, I thought you were gonna say Justin Bieber.
Justin, honestly, I love Justin Bieber. I think his songs are great. He doesn't seem like a very personable person, but like I think I like his music. I'm a believer. Uh, what was I saying with that? Oh yeah, yeah. So like I wanted my album, I purposefully wanted to have a bunch of different genres because that's who I am anyway. So like I have a solid country pop thing, and then I've got an R&B song. I've got, you know, Circle Game, which is pure rock, and then, you know, you've got Soldier the Bombshell, which is specifically country. And it's like there's a little, it's like a box of chocolates. There's a little chocolate for everyone, no matter what your flavor is.
Mm-hmm. You never know what you're gonna get. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. I'm just reading off an advertisement. You never,
Thank you, of
you never know
course.
what you get. It's like in Halloween when the kids go up to the, you know, the dark house. It's like they don't have their lights on, so you never know what you're
Mhm.
gonna get.
What to expect.
Or like the lady who had apples only. You didn't know that, you know?
What's that one? I don't know that.
When I no, I'm saying like the story. Like when you
Oh,
go up to a house and the like the house only the lady only has apples only. Like you didn't know that. You
mhm.
didn't know they were gonna be
No.
evil.
Exactly. You're like, I don't want to go there.
No, I didn't take that off a story. I just made that shit up.
I get what you're saying though. Like when you approach a house, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so what do you got coming up? Like, you got anything like big in the works or anything in all, really?
Yeah, so I just finished a tour, which was amazing. I loved it.
Oh,
And
where'd you
now I'm
tour?
working on,
Where'd you tour?
yeah, so I started in Nashville and then I went to North Carolina, South Carolina, um, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware,
Oh,
Pennsylvania, New York, and then back to Nashville.
oh, I lived in Richmond for 3 years. So if I, you know, if I
Nice.
was still up there, I lived in Richmond,
That's great. I'm
but
actually visiting Florida. I've got a show coming up in Florida in February.
where at?
It's Sarasota.
Okay, that's on the opposite side.
Okay.
That's on the opposite side. But yeah. But
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm by the Alabama border right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Alabama's great. They've got such
Yeah,
good music.
like LA, lower Alabama, that kind of LA.
Hmm. Yeah, I like it.
That kind of the other they call it that too, just for like shits and giggles.
They do.
Yeah, like LA, like welcome like the hillbillies and stuff.
Yeah, but their
But
accents are so cool.
yeah, I mean, I guess you know, you get tired of the some of the stuff, but I like it here too. It's kind of peaceful. Like rent isn't that expensive.
Yeah,
Like I got a like 2 bedroom, 1 bath for like 700 something. Like
that's
you
awesome.
can't do that like in New York. I
In
don't
New
think
York and
so. I don't think
Nashville,
so. I think it's double
no.
that. I think it's double that.
In New York and Nashville, if you want a studio, not even a one bedroom, it's 1,800.
That's what I'm saying. So you got to
Mhm.
move to the country, right? It's
I know, but
cheaper.
I gotta be in where the vibe is, where all my fellow artists are.
You can go to New Orleans. There's a lot of cheap places in New Orleans.
Yeah, I
By the
know. I
way,
don't
you
know
need to
though.
have you would you ever play at New Orleans?
Of course, I would love to.
Well, I may send a message or whatever. I know I have a PR person that I talk to get guests.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to.
So,
Please link
but
us
I don't
up.
know. They're really like I don't want to talk shit about the PR person because they're probably gonna if they hear this, they'll be like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah. Okay, we'll veer away from that.
We'll be away from this.
But yeah.
Ray,
So
that
anyway, to answer your question though, I do have a new song coming up, and I'm super excited about it.
yeah, I feel like I'm cutting you off. I apologize if I
No, no,
come across that
I
way.
don't want you to. I don't want you to say anything that you're gonna regret.
I mean, you're helping me out. I appreciate that. But
I'm looking out for you.
you can't really divulge any details about the song, right? Not yet.
Kind of. I mean, like, I
Breaking
literally
news? Are you going to give me breaking news?
Well, like, I don't care. It's my song.
No, but like I didn't know if you were gonna. Some people like to have announcements, like
Yeah.
or like posts or whatever.
No, I mean, when I come up with a big strategy, then like you'll know.
I know
But I
it's your
mean, once
song, but I'm just saying.
yeah, I don't care. I'm not that strict. Like I'm not under a disclosure contract or anything, so I don't
Disclose
care.
like an NDA,
Yeah, like I'm
like
not
like
doing that stuff.
like a reality TV NDA, like
Exactly.
that people don't
I don't need to
that
do that.
that people don't follow anyways.
Yeah. It's true. Nobody actually
Like
does anyway.
I'm a Survivor fan, the reality show, and like
Mhm.
they all sign NDA. No one follows that shit. Big Brother,
Mhm.
none of
Yeah.
none of them. Ray, this has been awesome. This has been
Thank
great.
you so much.
I've
Yeah,
had
it's
a
so
good
much
time.
fun. Yeah.
Uh,
All the
cracking
laughs.
each other up. Yeah, all the laughs.
Yeah.
I promise, no more death jumps for Jenna. I promise, no more. I won't have
Please,
her.
please don't. I'm scared for her.
Well, she actually went up to the top level by herself today. So I was just a
That's
couple
pretty good.
days early. I was just a couple days early.
You know what? I seriously, if I were you, I would look into playing the like a radio or the TV when you're gone and see if that helps her.
I don't know. She like it was crazy.
Mhm.
It was like press pause and then play when I came back. Bathroom, food. I'm like, did I just starve my kitty by going to work? Like, like what?
Yeah,
I
unless
gotta pay for rent. Like she won't have all this.
yeah, I don't know. Unless like your cat's just very shy and scared. I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll end it on that note, on a scared kitty note.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll have
Maybe
to
you
do
should
the.
play some Ray Radick and then she'll come out.
Oh yeah, yeah, on Pandora. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still one of those old people that use Pandora.
Pandora is great.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
Social media. Where can people find you on social media?
I am the most active on Instagram. I love Instagram. So my handle is at Rae, Rae, as an elephant, Radick, Radick. And you can find me on Instagram the most, followed by Facebook, same, obviously the same name. TikTok, I'm trying, but like I just, there's so many platforms. And YouTube, of course.
Just to prove to you that I can say it, Rae Radick. All right.
That's the word. Perfect.
Maybe I'll copy and paste it and put that on the intro, like post production.
That's fine, whatever you want. You're
All
not the
right.
first, you're not the last.
All right. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. We're doing this in the afternoon, so I appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I
And
look forward to episode 2.
well, hopefully you don't become, too big for me, the
No. I remember there's a saying, be nice to the people on your way up the elevator because it's the same people you're going to meet on the way down the elevator.
I mean, I did have somebody that was on American Idol on the podcast, so
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple big names. But none as big
Yeah.
as your name though, Ray. I mean,
Oh, thank
put
you.
you on the top, you know?
I know people are always like, why don't you go up for American Idol? And I'm like, guys, I know so many people that are on American Idol and it's all fake. I don't feel like playing that game.
Fake
You know,
news. Yeah, as Florida people will
it's
say.
all fake news.
As Florida as the Florida election has shown. Fake
It's
news.
true. It's all fake news, but it's just like there's so many politics and like The Voice and American Idol. Like I'm just gonna do what I do. And if someone wants to join my team, awesome. And if they don't, I still do great work.
Just say adios, you know?
Yeah. Adios.
All right, speaking of adios, you have a good one, okay?
Thank you so much.
And
You have a great day.
you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.